Tegan Berry having some issues placing the ball on the tee right now. Get it in the right position to try and make it awkward for Cronulla to receive.
Stay behind, time your runs.
So we wrap up the round in Wollongong. And Cronulla let the ball bounce. It was an inviting bounce up to Tomagado. They get away with it. Quick handoff to the regular try scorer, Ellie Johnston. 7 in her past 9, and now Tiana Penatani, the captain, player of the year last year for the Sharks. Dodd is the number 9, and moved on to the experience of Holly Wheeler. Good metres gained after contact there. Dodd baying for a penalty. Milking is the cry from our referee, Clayton Willis. Second game for him. Anderson. And look where the Sharks are at the back end of this opening set, inside the 40. So Preston, chance for an attacking kick into that corner. Berry across, coughs it up, and so too to the Sharks. Foliaki was eyeing that try line.
Yeah, she would have liked that one again, Vanessa Foliaki. Very uncharacteristic error from Tegan Berry. I think she heard the footsteps coming. Just went straight through that one. But that can be the impact of Taylor Preston's kicking game and a really good, strong kick chase. So they've set themselves up for a brilliant opportunity to attack here, the Sharkies.
Yeah, there's not many night games that get played in the NRLW. Tegan Berry might have just lost sight of that one in the lights.
Packs into the scrum at lock, does Berry. As they go to Tonegado, dangerous in these situations, sets it up for Penatani! And Cronulla score in the opening 2 minutes here.
Yeah, well, that's all speed there. Emma Tonegado gets it straight off that set-piece scrum, and that's just footwork and speed to take her player on the outside. We'll get a great look at it here on the Harvey Norman replay. Gets the footy and just drags her opposition half over and finds Tiana Penatani in a little bit of space. She could have also probably hit the winger there, but it was great footwork. And Penatani, she held her wits. She stayed in between those two players. A strong ball carrier herself, but great pace and footwork from Tonegado.
Well, this was shades of the Sharks' try in the first game, wasn't it? Same setup, close to the line, powerful centre. And the Dragons' defence reacted exactly the same way. They were a little too tight. If they set up a little bit wider, they trust their inside defence is going to come across and help shut that down. They might try and stop her a little bit closer, but you can just see here, Emma Tonegado steps on the outside and then Penatani. Lendl has been playing second row. She's played some centre, but up against the class of Penatani, that's a tough one to stop.
I think back to last time they went head-to-head, it was the headline act, wasn't it? Penatani beat Lendl when Lendl was in the centres. It's going to be waved away here, the conversion. A whirlwind start from Cronulla, protecting the only unbeaten record in NRLW this season. And the kickoff goes to the try scorer, Penatani, her 12th in her NRLW career. On a 6-game winning streak dating back to last year. Remember, they missed finals but won their last 2 games, and they've taken that momentum into the 2024 season.
Actually, I really like the way they've been playing this year. There's been some tight games for them, but they've shown some real grit and resilience, and I think Tony Herman has been very pleased with that.
Wheeler puts her hand up again. Looked upset with the treatment she copped on a previous hit up, but she was ready to go again. And Preston from a similar spot. Kicks to the same corner. No pressure on Berry this time. Good safe take from the fullback. But look at that chase.
Great tackle.
Brooke Anderson, of course. Hasn't she been outstanding at night?
A little pit bull.
There's been a reshuffle going on for these Dragons.
Yeah, you can see Zali Hopkins has moved. She was defending in the scrum. Also, Casey Ray is at dummy half, but even in that scrum, Casey Ray was defending one off. So maybe they're just trying to figure out their spine a little bit as well.
Ray, one of the teenagers, and Racine McGregor in the halves. All of her experience, former Golden Boot winner and Dalian medalist, and Hopkins on kicking duty. She's slated to be playing in the halves today. That's a Dragons bounce and then a Sharks bounce, but knocked on. And that's advantage, isn't it? Lendl saying I should be able to streak away for a try, but the referee blew it up. Dragons ball.
Yeah, he blew the whistle before she actually picked that one up there, but this is the danger of letting that ball bounce. Again, potentially the night game gets lost in the lights. Cassie Staples doesn't quite make it on the full, and this is a wicked bounce. This is a proper home ground bounce. Look at that. Bounces away from her both times.
What a nightmare. What a great kick from Zali Hopkins. She's a very versatile player. She's been sort of thrown between hooker and in the halves at different points throughout the season already before Tyler King came in, but I really like her in the halves. It was a great kick.
Feeds the scrum there. Now McGregor. Flash Berry looming large out the back, but they went to Lendl. Under the headgear. Plenty going on. Slow play the ball. Preston got away with it. Tiakaranga Katoa sets them up in front of the right-hand upright, and there are numbers left here.
Yeah, if they can get it out to the left, they have got the Sharks shot.
They're ready to go to work for a pet play. Oh, overlap had been created, but they went to the front player.
Yeah, Tegan Berry was wide open then. She was set nice and deep too, so she would have had that time and space. Jamie Soward looks a little bit unhappy with that attacking decision. Look at this. Zali Hopkins really deep, but the short ball wasn't on. It was on out to Tegan Berry, and then quick hands to the centre and the wing.
Well, it was a 3-on-1. There were two unmarked outside the winger of Ravix of the Sharks. It just has to get there. They got to look up. That was a great opportunity for the home side.
Let's check in with Marley Silver down on the sideline.
Well, as the Sharks get their first penalty in this match, I can tell you it's been a muggy afternoon here at WIN Stadium. It's cooled down a little bit now. It's 20 degrees and there's only a slight northwesterly breeze that is coming from behind the Dragons. In the men's game that was before this, we saw that play a little bit of a part with the really high balls, but otherwise not wreak too much havoc. And I have to say, very happy to see so many fans sticking around for our NRLW match.
I tell you what, a lot of them look like Sharks fans speaking.
There's a lot of blue there.
Not mad about it.
Here's Staples chiming in. Cut out ball. Nakia Davis-Welsh against Paseka on debut. Still going Nakia.
What a recovery.
Sharks with a couple more plays inside the red zone. Looking to add to that early try from Penatani. From one side to the other. Tonagato straightens things up. And back to Penatani. Dangerous combination. Great ball. And Nakia Davis-Welsh scores. Cronulla are flying here.
What about this? This is some great football from the Sharks. We see a break by Nakia Davis-Welsh down the left-hand side. There's a play the ball. It shifts all the way back to the far post. And then it comes back. The Harvey Norman replay. This is that initial break by Nakia Davis-Welsh. That was a strong palm, and she does well to regather the football here, as Alana spoke about. Big tackle, but this work through the middle. It's great work by Tonagato to actually come back against the grain, and really good work for this left edge to stay alive and give an option back on this way.
Yeah, Emma Tonagato did a good job to make sure that she ran in front of her players so that they were onside. I was thinking someone needs to straighten up, someone needs to hit a hard line here, but that last minute step from Emma Tonagato, this next one, just to get Penatani back on the outside. She runs a brilliant line, and just, again, pace, make sure that that winger bites in to free up Nakia Davis-Welsh, who well and truly deserves that because her run was brilliant to set that up, that territory. They just had them on the back foot, constantly guessing the Dragons.
One of Cronulla's Indigenous players wearing the Indigenous jersey today, Nakia Davis-Welsh, as Preston's kick is waved away again.
Yes, yeah, that's me. Stay behind it.
So 2 tries in the opening 10 minutes. Have the Sharks in control early. Dragons looking to bounce back, and they have to do it with their defence first up. Another kick allowed to bounce a couple of times before Johnston brings it back with trademark purpose. Well, Rugby League Las Vegas Festival 2025. Let's go. Book your ticket for the ultimate bucket list trip to the sports and entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. Be there to experience all the action and excitement live at Allegiant Stadium. Next year will be bigger, bolder and better, with 8 teams and 4 games for just one epic ticket on that Saturday. Tickets and travel packages are on sale now at NRL.com/Vegas. Rugby League Las Vegas, let's go. Another piggyback for the Sharks here.
Well, the Dragons can ill afford to give away penalties and a leg up to the Sharks, who are just feeling like they're playing with the wind behind them at the moment. It's all coming so easy.
Front rowers passing to one another. Dodd asking for another penalty. Wheeler moving off the mark.
Holly, be very careful. Play the ball on the mark. That's your
Play the
responsibility.
ball, Holly.
Play with your foot.
Gone up with the back shot to give the possession away. And that would be poor discipline. Holly Wheeler happy to go toe-to-toe with Clayton Willis, the referee. It's the second game in NRLW. Oh, it opens up here. What was the lead runner doing? Cassie Staples doesn't worry. Shapes up against Berry and is centimetres short. So the bunker doesn't have to weigh in on the lead runner. Penatani at dummy half. Finds Tonagato. Now Dodd centre field. And Anderson pops it out the back, lost it in contact. Dragons have the footy back.
Well, that's very fortunate that there was a one-on-one strip there. Very well done by Ella Costa, because there were 2 defenders covering that whole left edge for the Dragons. And if the Sharks had got it out there, it was try time again.
So can St George Illawarra steady here? Alice Gregory wearing the 5 last week. Made her debut last week in the number 19 jumper. Another with a Rugby Sevens background. And here's the penalty the Dragons were desperate for.
Ball in front.
Offside. It's a bit of poor discipline. They'll be hungry too, the Dragons. You watch Tegan Barry just get to work. She's been directing her teammates from the back, but I dare say we'll see her pop up a couple of times this set.
Bring it up. Come on. Right.
Keely Brown eventually tapped it from the right spot and takes on the line.
Make sure you scrap, Georgia.
Good contact down low.
And surprisingly, Brooke Anderson.
Hopkins now. Tiakaranga Katoa had to search for a low pass. Now McGregor, runners in motion. Here is Berry chiming in to Paseka. Saw her at New South Wales under-19s level when they blitzed Queensland earlier this year. Makes her debut today. Back to Toanie, another of the teenagers in this Dragons lineup.
Well, again, the Dragons have got an opportunity to the left, but they go to the right.
Hung up for Paseka in space, and a shocking bounce for the Dragons.
Sharks in the touch. Play the ball, Dragons.
I thought she could have got there then, Paseka.
10.
Racine McGregor. It's a lovely little kick. Oh no, I suppose she was probably a metre behind.
What was that? Was that touched by Penatani? Yeah. So the Dragons will get the ball back here. It's all right, Sowie, you get the ball back, mate.
He needs to
Tyler
take
King.
a deep breath.
Right behind Jamie Sauer, the Dragons 5'8" ruled out with a head knock. McGregor has a little look on that left-hand side. Late offload from Toanie. Opens up space here for Maddie Mulhall. Has 1 try so far in the NRLW. Now they go left. Sharks have some numbers out there. Tegan Berry assessed that and runs the other way now.
Numbers but no space. They're going at the wrong time, the Dragons, to the left.
Penatani, does she ever do anything wrong? Makes another one-on-one tackle. out of position a little, so there might be space to exploit. But the Sharks scramble again. Short side, Berry. And Penatani has just been involved in 3 tackles in a row. It might have knocked herself out.
This is last head injury, last with Tegan. Just up here today.
Yeah, I didn't know whether it was her shoulder that got caught under the contact or whether it was her head, but she stayed pretty still afterwards. She's got through a ton of work, as he spoke about. Or maybe in the eye. Oh, I think it was friendly fire. Hand in the eye, potentially, from Byers. But just while she's getting some attention, there's been a couple of times where the Dragons have had numbers out to an edge and they've gone the opposite way. They just need to have a look up. It just looks like they're making the decision on what to do before they actually see what the Sharks' defence is giving them.
They've had plenty of time here to work out what they'll do on the final play, and also the Sharks have had time to rest defensively and get ready for this final play. There's the man doing a great job with these Sharks, Tony Herman on the left.
Yeah, he loves it, Tony. Doesn't look like it right now, but he absolutely loves it.
8-5 record so far as Sharks coach. McGregor's kick. Chasers looked offside, and including Tiakaranga Katoa, but she's able to push Tonegado dead and get a repeat set.
Yeah, another opportunity to build some pressure, put some attack on.
Okay, she's trying to go long. Make sure it's behind the line.
You've got to tell the ref whether you're going short or long now, dude. That's interesting.
What? No, you don't. Since when?
What about that? He
That
just
was weird.
tipped up his touchies that she would be going long and not short. Very honest from Taylor Preston. Wonder what happens if she doesn't go long and go short.
That is ridiculous.
I've never heard that before.
Mulhall trying to go right over the top of Foliaki. Great run by Hopkins. Gets them inside the 10.
I think it was the young Casey Ray.
Oh, it was Ray. I apologise.
Look at her.
Oh, nice link up. Toanier almost able to roll over. So close, the Dragons. Ray finds Ray. McGregor moves it on. And taken down 1-on-1 is Charlotte Basham by Tonegado. Ray short side, gets a kick through the legs of her opponent. That's cheeky.
That's a nice little kick from Casey Ray. She had a couple of good runs from dummy half. She's got really good vision. I still think in the future she'll be playing in the halves. But they're very fortunate to have a lot of halfbacks at the moment and still having a lot of great impact from dummy half. Another repeat set for the Dragons.
Once again, Preston goes long. Can the Dragons turn all of this pressure into their first points? Both the early tries unconverted, so converted try would bring them right back into it. And here's Berry. Early ball for Brown. Taking Biddle and Preston with her for a little while. Berry helps out at dummy half. Back to Mulhall. Look at Ray counting numbers. Back to Hopkins and McGregor, the halves combined. Basham. Again, it required the one-on-one defence of Emma Tonegado. From dummy half, it's McGregor, and Tonegado was square at mark and made another sensational tackle. On the last, nice pass. Down Hopkins, and it ricochets kindly for Dodd.
Well, it was a really good trap and scrap there for the Sharks. They had no fullback. She was caught up in the line. It was a good idea. Execution not quite right for the Dragons, but the Sharks now just rolling through their set. Vanessa Biddle is physical as always.
They looked fairly comfortable then. They had back-to-back even repeat sets defending their line, the Sharkies, and they did it pretty comfortably.
Where to next, says Quincy Dodd. Back to Anderson, who weaved a passage and linked up with Wheeler again. She's looking for an offload too. Another middle forward on the end of it, Johnston. Hunting as a trio. And now Dodd goes to her kicker. Preston, can she find grass? No, good backtracking in the end. Gregory able to take it on the full.
Well, it might not seem like much to people at home, but when you can be consistent... Oh, that's a good run. Keely Brown just left Taylor Preston behind. But when you can finish your sets in that inner corner and force your opposition to work really hard out, it takes so much out of them.
Paseka's come a long way looking for work. And straight into the marker, Anderson, who made yet another tackle. Tawanio, hard to get on the deck, isn't she? Maintains her balance again.
She's got a very strong base. When she goes into contact, she keeps her legs wide. That's a nice kick by McGregor. There's the chase up to it.
Staples got away with letting that one bounce. Backed off and it sat up kindly for her. How are you finding Tonegado in the halves and Staples at fullback this year, Alana?
Yeah, I think the balance is working for them at the moment. I still think fullback is Emma Tonegado's best position, but it probably suits the Sharks to have her in at 5'8" and play that running half role. And Cassie Staples has certainly held her own so far at fullback.
Dodd, great scamper. Playing with her eyes up. She's so proud to be wearing that Indigenous jersey. Hopes there's an Indigenous round not too far around the corner in NRLW. As Preston kicks out to Gregory's side again. And collared a little high and leads to the penalty. As we look at the Westpac red zone so far and look at the dominance for the home team.
Well, you'd be forgiven for thinking that the scoreline would be different when you look at that Westpac red zone, 11 versus 1, but the Sharks have been able to score from a bit longer range. That one just crept up a little bit there by Ravix, but I think that's a testament to the Sharks' defence, turning them away consistently so far.
Yeah, the win so far, they kept the Cowboys to 0 in the first week. 18-16 over Parramatta, 24-12 over Canberra, and last week won a really tight battle with Newcastle by 2 points as well.
Yeah, I think on average they're only conceding 10 points. So Tony Herman very much focused on defence. Be very happy with that.
The likes of Wheeler and Anderson locking up the middle. Looks like they should be able to enter the red zone again before this set is over. Ray goes to Hopkins and fresh onto the ground. Jamile Bright takes them inside the 20. Short side for Hopkins, kicking for Berry. It sat up kindly for Ravix, and the chasers were pinged for being inside this time.
Well, it wasn't a bad finish to the set. It was just that ill discipline not staying behind the kicker there. The Dragons had an opportunity to heap a little bit more pressure on the Sharks, using their defence this time. It's just another little bit of a leg up out of trouble.
Well caught on the hill. He had a blanket draped over his shoulders as well, so good skills.
Superman.
Vanessa Biddle, last year's Rookie of the Year. On that right centre role. Anatani has recovered from that poke in the eye. Already a try and a try assist in the opening 10 minutes today. Set up Davis Welsh for the second try. The winger plays it just inside her own half. Johnston. Well done, Casey Ray, for sticking the tackle and getting help from the front rower. Quincy Dodd again. Wheeler has featured on every set, seemingly. Will play it 30 out on the last. Preston again waiting for it. Will kick along the deck this time. Nice bounce for Berry. Great tackle. What a read, Brooke Anderson.
We've got to come up with a nickname for her. The axe is already taken, but it has to be something equally good, Speedy, because she has been cutting everything in half that gets in front of her. Brooke Anderson. Let's look at this on replay. They give away a penalty, which is annoying, but look at that tackle. She does it on big bodies too, not just the little ones.
Oh, she's so good.
taken more of an opportunity in that lock roll this year, Brooke Anderson. We saw more out of her at 9 last year, but I really like her in that lock roll.
Yeah, it suits the balance of the Sharkies team as well at the moment. She had a good motor on her. She can ball play. She played a lot of footy, even different codes coming through in that, like the ball playing role, typically in the halves, and then NRLW, as Rue mentioned, played a lot of hooker, and then this is handy for the Dragons, has transitioned into that lock role.
Can't go quick, it's
Again, it was Toanie, who they couldn't put down, that earned the penalty. And Steph Hancock, her first role was to run a decoy. I'm not sure she was too happy about that either, Steph, that she didn't get the footy.
Well, look, when you're fresh on the field, you want to get your hands on the ball straight away, get those nerves out of the way. That's on report too, that leg lift. So obviously this is something that they're really cracking down on this year. You can't lift the leg of an attacking player.
Here she goes, Steph Hancock. First played for Queensland in 2001. That's before half her teammates were born. McGregor.
What would you do it like that for?
Throwing dummies. She doesn't mind. All those stats that come out, I don't think. Teammates. The odd nickname, don't they? Here she goes again. Second hit up. Hancock taking tacklers with her, and Anderson with a strong finish. Jiu-jitsu style. Toanie moving it on this time. Back on the angle. Costa! Ella Costa for the Dragons.
She's very happy about it too. That was a really brave run, a great angle coming back against the grain off Zali Hopkins. But they got that penalty. They had a little bit of momentum. This is the first time the Dragons have been able to capitalise this close to the line. You get to see on the Harvey Norman replay, Zali Hopkins just feeds that nice little pill to Ella Costa, who had to do a lot of the work by herself, mind you, but a really dangerous angle. Back at some softer shoulders, and then that late footwork. Really well done to finish that off.
I think it was really smart play by the Dragons. They'd been trying to shift edge to edge. It wasn't working. So why don't you just change that angle? They come back against the grain, and the Sharks at the moment, they haven't made any interchanges, so they're the original starting pack in the middle. 25 minutes in, there's a bit of fatigue, and this is what she finds, just that little bit of fatigue. And look at this. Power up, girl. She loves it.
What a future as well. 19 years of age, third try already in NRLW, playing on an edge. We saw her in the front row for New South Wales under-19s. I wonder where she'll settle down eventually, position-wise. Look at this angle. For Racine McGregor, taking it back 12 metres and misses.
Away. Come off.
So the Dragons on the board thanks to a sensational run by Ella Costa, one of 5 teenagers in this Dragons 17 today. St George Illawarra fans with reason to smile.
Stay behind.
What can they do off the back of points? It's game on here. What a difference Hancock made. 2 hit-ups in the lead up to that try.
Well, here we go. The Sharks have made some interchanges as well to try and counter the fresh legs of the Dragons. Tegan Dimmick is on. Chloe Saunders is on. Look at this. Casey Ray has done very, very well.
Toanie has been outstanding. All playing lock roll when required.
Well, they've done well in the middle of the field, and particularly being able to get those metres and playing their footy in the right territory. It's just the execution that's taken them a little bit of time. Struggled to get to their edges effectively.
Timing their chase well here, and Staples let it bounce again. And Paseka trying to take Davis Welsh into touch. Did well to stay in the field of play in the end.
Oh, they made that one hard. Back 3 of the Sharks. It was almost like it's yours. Neither of them really went for it there. Cassie Staples and Nakia Davis Welsh. They'll no doubt have a chat about that at half-time. Oh, big contact. Is that 28 again?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a hit.
He loves it.
Yeah, they need a dominant voice. They need to be catching those on the full.
Yeah, it's got them on the back foot here. Dragons really muscling up defensively. That's 4 tackles made. Still inside their own 30, so Tegan Dimmick with fresh legs makes a great run on play 5. And the flop was really testing the friendship from Costa. Got away with it. Preston, look at that bending away. Deliberately, I reckon, from Preston. She's such a good kicker.
Well, she had no pressure on her from the Dragons either. It was a well-executed kick. She's got a brilliant kicking game, but as the Dragons, you need to be up in her face, putting pressure on her every single time she's getting the ball at the end of a set.
Keely Brown finding her front again for a quick play the ball. Another centre off the back of it, Lendl.
Just 2, just wait. Back on the mark. Wait, Shanae. Play the ball, go.
Hancock. Jamie Sowd was delighted to secure her signature again to help mentor some youngsters. Oh, they come back in when there was space. They eventually go to Brown. Preston asking for help, and it came from Ravix.
Well, there was a massive disconnect on that right edge defensively. The centre shot up, the winger has to go with her, but here they go for another raid.
Trademark dummy from Racine McGregor eventually succumbs in the tackle, so she's out of play on the last. It's up to Hopkins to take over. Left foot kick. Nakia Davis-Welsh just back into the field of play, gets a high shot.
Oh, she was on her way to the ground there. That's unfortunate for the Dragons. I think it was... Yeah, it was Basham that came in. She was trying to put some pressure on Nakia Davis-Welsh. It was a nice little kick there, but that's a hard one for a left footer with inside pressure. Just got Davis-Welsh a little bit high.
Conservative touch finder from Preston. So Penatani has to dig in and take them outside of their own 20. Awkward looking finish to the tackle. Here's Byers playing on that left edge, back from her head knock that kept her out last week.
Shani Smails on, here she goes.
Gold medalist in 2016 along with Emma Tonegado in Rugby Sevens. So the interchange forward's going to work. Saunders off the back of that. Lead halved. An early 8-point lead.
Casey Ray has been brilliant in defence. She's working really hard in the middle of the field.
Preston gets Smail out of the way there because she wanted something to brew out in the right. Pass hit the deck though, and it's a handover in the end.
To change over where you are.
Well, that was very clearly a spot set on Casey Ray. The Sharks went straight back in behind the ruck when she was there. When she popped out a little wider, they sent bodies at her, and she's just catching her breath at the back there. She's worked very, very hard.
Important little phase here before half-time. And the Dragons sneak a lead. 40-30 would help, but it's bending away.
Early kick.
Didn't get the angle that she was after, I don't think, Racine McGregor. It's a 40-30 rule in NRLW, and McGregor's had a few in her time. There's Ravix.
Yeah, Costa got left behind after that contact. Well, she's up on her feet now.
They're ready for Biddle every time, aren't they, after her amazing rookie season?
They have to be.
Dimmick. Couple of tries now in her NRLW career. Quincy Dodd fires it to Tonegado. What about that ball? The deception, and space nearly opened up for Byers. Important tackle made by Basham, but they're rolling. Dodd up the middle. Kick looks pretty handy. Turns Berry around and gets a repeat set.
Yeah, it's really clever footy there. A great little short ball to Emma Tonegado, but it's the movement off the ball. They had so many options sweeping around that left edge that made that short ball so dangerous, and then a quick play the ball. Quincy Dodd just comes back on the inside, beats the markers and puts in a lovely little grubber kick for herself. Pressure on the opposition fullback and set up beautifully to attack here, the Sharks.
Spent a couple of years with the Dragons, Quincy Dodd, before joining the Sharks when they came into the comp.
She's a Sharks junior. Quincy Dodd played Tasha Gale for the Sharks alongside Tarley Holmes and Taylor Preston, who are all back together this year, which is good to see.
She was born in Cogra as well. And here she is, cooking something up. Goes back to Tonegado, who made it all happen early. Staples, Nakia Davis-Welch, setting sail for the corner, cuts back in, and the try saver made by Basham in company with Paseka.
What a tackle.
Back to Tonegado. And now Dodd again. Ask Dimmick to straighten them up. 2 more plays left. Which way now? Dodd out to Preston. Overlap created here. Cut out ball. What a pass from Staples. Allows Ravix to go over untouched.
What I liked most about this was they had a raid down the left edge, and then they realised the space opened up and they shifted out to the right. The Harvey Norman replay will show it beautifully. There's a nice break down the left. This is a great try-saving tackle. Paseka, Lendl and Basham all working well in unison. But when they shift it back out to the right, you just see here, double drop under, holds up that middle defence. Taylor Preston makes the right decision, hits the back runner. And Cassie Staples with the last pass for the try assist.
Yeah, she set herself nice and deep off her half, Cassie Staples, which made sure that it gave them enough time on that right edge to be able to execute that pass. So her centre and her winger could set deep as well and just time their run off her. But the pass from Taylor Preston to Cassie Staples, just setting that extra little bit deeper, made sure that they had the space, and it was very well finished.
So the siren about to sound. This will be half-time. The players will head for the sheds after the conversion attempt coming up from out wide after Georgia Ravix scored her 6th try in just 10 games in first grade. It's been a great addition to this Sharks unit, and the deep breathing will continue in the sheds at the break. What can Preston do? Tough night for goal kickers. Windy night in the Gong, and no one able to convert just yet. So at half-time, in the final game of the round, it is Cronulla 12, St George Illawarra 4.
Let's go, getting ready for the second half in Wollongong. Back to you, Speedy.
Thank you, Emma. And the Dragons playing catch-up here. Had the ball in hand through Hancock, trying to go over the top of Smale. What a start to the action in the second 35 here. Tawane just keeps on keeping on. And the Dragons best in the opening half. There's Bright. Still got another debutante to come off the bench later, Jordan Preston, the 21-year-old. Both she and Paseka were signed as injury replacement players on Friday and make their debuts here tonight. Berry. Let's see what they do on the last. McGregor waits. Sharks let a lot of kicks bounce in the first half. This time they take it on through Penatani.
Strong start by the home side, very physical, just working in around that ruck, and it was a nice little kick to finish. If they can maintain their discipline here and try and build some pressure through their defence, it'll be a really great start.
3 tries to 1 in that first half. One of those tries came from Penatani. And Saunders up towards halfway. Awkward one for Smale, able to juggle her way. And then it's Preston on the last. Under the chest of the winger. And back into centre field immediately from Gregory. That's a handy one for the home team with a 1-3 record so far in the young season.
Well, the referee has been very vocal today, very loquacious. Everyone was offside there. He was talking to them about it. They still moved off the mark. That's why the penalty was forthcoming.
Ball kids wondering whether they're allowed to go and track down that rogue footy. Eventually got the job done. An experience for them to be so close to the action. No wonder so many of those kids kick on to be first graders down the track. Hopkins moves it on to Hancock. Great tackle again. Down low. Byers goes again. Hopkins again asking Bright to straighten things up. So they're inside the red zone where they've been so often in this game. Just the one try to show for it. Hopkins, lefty kick. 2-on-1 situation here. Well done, Ravix.
Yeah, it was really well done by Ravix. A great kick from Zali Hopkins. Made sure that it was contestable, but it was really well handled by the Sharks winger.
I've been impressed with the way the Dragons have got through their sets.
Oh,
and
that's a contestable ball, isn't it?
knocked on, I think, the referees.
Yeah, against Toanier, so a fresh set coming up for the Sharks. That's a bonus set for them because they could easily have given up possession here.
Well, they're going to challenge it.
We have a captain's challenge from the Dragons. They're disputing the decision of knock on the ground.
No, I only saw this from afar, so...
You don't see it too often either, this situation. Normally the dummy half is able to get the ball up, but they never got there. Played too early from Biddle.
Well, she did well. She got there. No, that's a knock-on.
The Sharks take the ball. The Dragons then strip the ball one-on-one and knock the ball on. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Yeah, I don't even think they needed to challenge that one. Their defence was really up and energetic. It's early in the half. That's one you can afford to just let go and then trust your defence to come off the back of it. But already, the start to this second half is very different from the start to the first. They're rolling through their work. They've had the ascendancy, I believe.
What about that for a cheer squad when you're about to make your debut?
That's cool.
Wonder if there's some Bomaderry swamp rats amongst that lot. That's where she started her footy career.
There's nothing better.
How good a club name.
Great name.
Gorilla Gorillas.
Swamp Rats.
Swamp Rats.
I should have played there.
And she is on. The 21-year-old.
Doesn't really look like a swamp rat, does she?
What a rise to prominence, though. Was out of the NRLW equation until Friday. Signs as a replacement player, and Jamie Soward says you're in. Went to the Shell Harbour Stingrays after the Swamp Rats. Another pass hits the deck, and Preston just has to dive on it. So she's out of play now. It's up to Tonegato to take over, perhaps. Instead, Dodd does the kicking out of dummy half. And Berry has some room to move. That could be dangerous. Uses the debutante.
I think she can keep her kicking licence after that one.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
She got a repeat set earlier, of course, that led to that late try in the first half. We speak of Quincy Dodd. Lendl with strength.
She is strong. There's not much of her, but she is wiring.
Nakaranga Katoa. Another of the young brigade, just 22 years old. Oh, she saw Biddle coming, didn't she? Hopkins.
Did she ever?
Eventually the call of held. Well done, Nessa Biddle. Took Hopkins back with it. And McGregor able to kick from inside the 40 in the end. Again at central, and Staples has been told by her coach, get there on the full, and she does.
Much better positioning there by Cassie Staples. She's moving on to the ball.
She kept moving her feet. That's the key.
Vanessa.
Look at that, play the ball. Ravix having to work hard to get back to her feet. Here comes Biddle again. Her work rate off the charts. She's up over 100 metres run now.
They do such a good job, the Sharks, to get their outside backs involved early in the first couple, and then they bring in either the width, as we see here.
Tonegado busts them, looking for options, takes on Berry. Not many do that, but Emma Tonegado is all class.
Emma Tonegado coming onto the ball at pace. She had options, but I was just saying they had their outside backs chipping in to get that forward momentum, give their pack a little bit of a breather, but that generated some quick play the balls. We see here on the Harvey Norman replay, Quincy Dodge, she jumps out and finds her 5'8", and Racine McGregor's just pointing the finger, saying to her back rower, get there, get there. And Emma Tonegado goes, no, I'll take that space, thank you very much. And to beat Tegan Berry for pace and a little bit of footwork, what a finish to that. Changes the footy into her left hand, so she's got her right arm free to palm, and then back to keep it safe to put the footy on the ground. Emma Tonegado, well done.
That was just really nice work by Emma Tonegado. The lead-up play was quite flat, so there wasn't much happening on the inside, but it was just enough to hold up Charlotte Basham, keep her in tight with her middle defence. And this is what she does so brilliantly. I think this angle will show it so well. You can just see there's just that little gap open up. Basham is just late to close it. And then here, that little in and away. She's so fluid on her feet. She moves beautifully. But hang on, we've got to check out some lead-up play.
Review for obstruction.
Right, give me the high shot. Here we go.
Lead runner.
Is that Tegan Dimmick going through?
The Sharks' lead runner
Inside shoulder.
runs and makes contact with the Dragons' defender. Which denies the opportunity to cross to make the tackle, and the Sharks take the advantage. We have a decision.
Yeah, Basham impeded, and she threw her hands up, didn't get there to close down Tonegado, so fair penalty, you'd say.
Well, looking at that replay, she makes contact with her, but she makes contact on the inside shoulder. But you just can't make contact with the defender. That's the whole reason. If she gets through on that inside shoulder without touching her, try. It's a shame, though. That would be a good try for the highlight reel for Emma Tonegado, beating Tegan Berry for pace. Goodness me.
Zach Lomax has hung around to cheer on the Dragons in the NRLW.
You're on the mark.
Tap, careful here, Sharks.
Lendl.
It required Penatani to get to Lendl. Another great battle between those two tonight. Penatani a little sore after making that tackle.
She just got her head caught in an awkward position there. Still in some trouble on the wing.
Could it be a massive turning point in that try taken away from Tonegado? And here go the Dragons with a chance to eat into the 8-point deficit. Hopkins goes to Ray at first receiver. Here's Berry. Oh, had set it up beautifully, but the pass a little behind Gregory.
Yeah, they got that last pass wrong.
Play the ball.
Jamie Soward
Middle.
has changed up the spine here. Zali Hopkins jumps into hooker, which brings Casey Ray into that first receiver role. She finds Tegan Berry, and just that last pass wasn't accurate. But I like the change-up. I like the fact that they're giving Casey Ray some time in the halves, not just the last 5 minutes, just to find her feet.
Jamie Soward, a massive rap on Casey Ray. He knows she'll be a number 7 permanently one day.
They're just lucky that they've got so many halves. Tyler King's obviously out. Zali Hopkins wants to be a half, but obviously is versatile enough, and same to Casey Ray. So they're in a very fortunate position.
Brilliant by Biddle. Important tackle made one-on-one on Dodd, just to slow things down by Mulhall, who's come back on. Saunders takes them inside the 40 just. Last tackle coming up, Preston centre field. Through the hands now for Tonegado. Overlap created, floats one to Davis Welsh. And great tackle, Penatani immediately contained by Lendl.
That was brilliant by Shanae Lendl. She didn't panic. She stayed evenly balanced, weight in both feet, was able to react brilliantly there. That floating pass was nice, wasn't it, by Emma Tonagato? They just couldn't take advantage of it, the Sharks.
Dragons still within striking distance. 9 games in the regular season for each and every club. This is game number 5. They feel like it's must win on their home deck to get to 2 and 3 and stay right in the mix for a spot in that top 4 at season's end. Here's Ray taking the line on and paying the price with some big contact. Preston and Biddle. And a pass behind a teammate. Dragons just have to tidy up in that area. There's no fluency that time. McGregor kicking for Berry. That's the intent. Tegan's there in time. She can come down with it. Has to keep it alive and does. Searching for it was Costa. Might have knocked it on. She did.
Well, there's a lot of fatigue in the Dragons outfit at the moment.
Where your eyes, Ali?
They've had to make 162 tackles.
Play the ball.
They're only travelling on average just under 35 metres a set, so the Sharks are really working them over. We've had to see Casey Ray do a lot of defence.
What a fascinating round it has been in NRLW. The Broncos are up to 2nd. Sharks up to 10 points on a live ladder. In a winning position here. They'd be 4 points clear of the rest if they hold on for victory here. Top 4 currently reads Sharks, Broncos, Roosters, Knights, but that can all change, of course. Look at all those teams on 6 points.
Well, look at all the upsets we've seen so far. The Cowboys with the 1-point win last week. The Titans beating the Roosters today. The Broncos having a slow start to the year, coming good now. Yeah, it's an open competition this year, which I love.
The Broncos were sitting at 7th before today's game, and they've jumped up to 2nd.
Yeah. That for and against helps, doesn't it?
They're on a 3-game winning streak now, the Broncos. The Sharks are unbeaten. And inside the red zone. Dodd trying to link up with runners. Wheeler. Eventually backup came to help Hopkins. Taranier again. Her jumper used to get Wheeler back to her feet. More mouthing off from Holly Wheeler. Oh, space created, knocked on by the Dragons for 6 more, it should be. And Davis Welsh gets away from that sideline, or does she?
Still worth it. Saved a try. But they're back to 0, the Sharks.
Byers takes some stopping.
Well, Tiana Penatani was slow to her feet after that challenge as well. She's in some discomfort on the left.
Look at Tonagato scheming. Back to Wheeler. Taking them on again, Holly Wheeler. Ball comes loose, and she gets the penalty. Lead by 8, so stay on the front foot. Keep the ball in hand here.
I would, definitely.
Yep. Hold your line. Wait.
You can just sort of smell that there is a try coming.
Byers trying to do it all immediately on play 1. Sometimes we're almost too close to the line in this situation. Trying to find some room. Wheeler for Anderson. Have to get Tonagato involved at some stage, don't you? Here comes Preston showing it, and Biddle. No way through Brown and company.
They need to let go here. Too many setup plays, the Sharks.
Short side for Foliaki. And she's held up by about 4 or 5 Dragons who are desperate to stay in contention here.
Well, there was a big staircase set up to the left, and they went flat. They went short on the right side, and I think the play was out. Look at this setup for the Sharks.
That's a win coming back out to the 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Opens up a bit more room for the likes of Tonagato to go to work. Here she is. And up quickly, Lendl.
Yeah, that's a good read. That's a good defensive read. Centre winger staying connected, shutting it down.
Short side, Tonagato wants it again. Deft kick. Soccer skills from Tonagato, has the ball back and then throws it away. What are you doing, Emma? It's a knock on against the Dragons.
Knock on Dragons first. In the middle.
Well, they're creating some opportunities, the Sharks, but it's just starting to get a little bit messy.
Clock on.
If they can tidy things up, it's a nice kick through here and a good chase. Tonagato does very, very well.
you know what? The Dragons are doing a really good job at putting them under that pressure.
Oh, yeah. Forcing the kick instead of allowing
Forcing
it
the kick, turning up, scrambling really hard. Lendl made a really good read on that edge as well. Look at the sets. They're building a lot of pressure with footy in hand. And the Dragons so far have done a great job to hold them out.
Tonegado dangerous in this situation from centre field scrum. Again. She's teed it up again. Instant replay. Penatani on the end of things once more. That's how the game started tonight.
Well, I was just about to say, is this Groundhog Day? 3 times we've seen this play here at this park today. First in the men's game with Jessie Ramian scoring. And then we've seen twice here. Tiana Penatani crosses the line. The Harvey Norman replay, the set piece is where Emma Tonegado is at her absolute best. That little shimmy, that little footwork holds up the defender, draws the centre, gets her really interested in her, and it's a lovely little pass. But if Tiana Penatani's not there pushing, there's no 4 points on display.
What a dangerous combination. She looks like she copped a bit of a whack to the throat to Tiana Penatani, but the speed of Emma Tonegado feeding Tiana Penatani the ball. You can see what a threat Emma Tonegado is and why Shanae Lendl comes in, because with footy in hand, she always looks to run first. And that just puts that centre in 2 minds. Shanae Lendl comes in and the space opens up for Penatani, but to stop one of them's hard enough. 2 of them teaming up, that's a great attacking edge.
Yet to see a try converted so far here this evening. It's 4 tries to 1 now. See how Preston gets on. And trying to bend it back, not in time.
Time off.
Try-scoring double for Tiana Penatani, who's been in the wars either side of that. Poke in the eye, hit in the shoulder, and she still keeps on keeping on. It's evened up in the Westpac red zone.
Yeah, just the execution from the Sharks. But they've certainly had their opportunities, the Dragons, which are obviously they play the balls, that Westpac red zone helps set that scene. But great defence from the Sharks this game.
Taka Pautolo on. Bit of a reunion for those New South Wales under-19s players today. Oh, Tonegado again, the hesitation. She's got support, tees up Byers. Tonegado is putting on a show, and the back rower, the beneficiary this time.
Great support from the back row, but just have a look at Emma Tonegado. When she gets in the footy in her hands, what she does with it. She's got numbers out in the edge. Her eyesight makes sure that it drifts out there, but as we see here on the Harvey Norman replay, she gets it. Footy is in 2 hands. She looks at that left edge, but just having that football in front of her with the options makes the defence hang off that tiny little bit, and you then add into the equation, the pace and the footwork from Emma Tonegado. That eyesight just sells the pass, and then she's able to break through that first line of defence. Great support play from the back rower. But Emma Tonegado, what a threat she's been today.
Byers has been waiting for this moment, her first career try, Ruan.
Yeah, what about the pickup? That ball was on the back of her hip there, and it was just a nice one-handed collection. Who loves it? She's been great tonight, Emma Tonegado. Let's see if this Taylor Preston can add the 2.
Makes it 22 for the Sharks.
What was that, Elise?
So well done, Rhiannon Byers has her first career try as we check in with Marley again.
Yes, some unfortunate news for the Dragons. At half-time, their debutante Maria Paseka was showing signs of concussion and went through the HIA protocols and unfortunately failed them. So we will not see her again this evening, which is, of course, very disappointing on her first game in the NRLW.
Yeah, that is a shame. She was playing on the right wing, and out on that side is where the Sharks have been testing them throughout the night, finding plenty of space. Another reshuffle for Jamie Soward's side to contend with in-game. Bit of extra work by Tiakaranga Katoa. Holly Wheeler may be entitled to protest there. Johnston off the back of it. And off the back of points, they're inside the 30. So where does Preston go? Again, kicks out to that side. And a great bounce for the Dragons. They get a 7-tackle set out of it, and that's the player who's wound up on the wing. It's Jordan Preston in that Paseka role.
Yeah, that southern end has got a real home ground bounce advantage, doesn't it? Every ball that's bounced down there has been in favour of the Dragons. It was almost the perfect set after points for the Sharks, as the run of the ball got away from them.
Need to go at better than a point a minute, the Dragons, if they want to finish over the top of the Sharks. 16 minutes to go, trailing by 18. What can they do with this 7-tackle set? Good effort by Basham to take them up over halfway. And Tiakaranga Katoa stopped in her tracks by Johnston. The two number 8s head-to-head. McGregor, another dummy thrown. No one's buying it for the Sharks. Out of their scouting report, no doubt. Now Casey Ray. Oh, Biddle lining up Brown. Massive contact again.
Tell you what though, Brown was very strong in it. Casey Ray.
Creative and played at by the Sharks.
Yeah, well done. Great work.
So inside the red zone, they can load up here. Hancock sets them up in front of the uprights. Cowan back on the angle. Tiakaranga. Oh! Big shot, may have saved the try from Saunders. Oh, coughed up by Tawania, a rare mistake from her.
I tell you what, there was some big defence in that set. Oh no, and
Part of the tackle, hand on ball.
error followed up by a penalty. I'd love to see that tackle by Chloe Saunders again. Was that on Tiakaranga Katoa? Look at this, back against the grain at pace. She is hard to stop. Look at that. That is sweet contact.
You mentioned how good the defence has been for the Sharks so far this season, and it's ringing true again tonight.
Yeah, that was the second best defensive side coming into this game. They just turn up. They scramble. Their initial contact and some of their hits have been extremely strong.
Oh, Biddle, careful. You'll give the ball away here. Costa doesn't like it. How does the ref see this?
No more, no more, no more. Clear it. Clear it. Race in, race in. Away, away.
Been some angry players today, hasn't there?
A bit of rugby league niggle.
Up on the Gold Coast that was all happening earlier.
A local derby.
Time off.
Don't know what.
I've got tackle 3. Tackle 3, play the ball, just push and shove. Play the ball.
Cheeky from Biddle.
We'll chat to the man in the bunker, Dave Munro, and they're going to play on with the play the ball for Biddle eventually here. On play 3. Just clarifying that. There was Saunders' heroics a moment ago, defending her own try line. Anderson helping out at dummy half at the moment. Tonegado. Oh, again floating it wide to Nakia Davis. Welch, what about that change of speed? Eventually dragged down by Lendl. Back to centre field they come for Preston to go cross field. take by Gregory.
Oh, good finish too. Crossfield kick, lands right in the cage. The defensive line is up on her.
Lands in the cage. Tell us more.
Yeah, so the cage is just that 20 metres in the corner, in both corners. And that's basically where you want to finish your sets off. It's really difficult to come back out of there, as this ill discipline has actually cost the Sharks a little bit throughout the start of this season. I know that's something that Tony Herman really wants tidied up. But when you can finish in the cage, in those corners, it really is tough to come out of there. And if you can maintain that discipline, you can really grind teams out of the game.
Brown again, tapping it and going up over halfway.
Let's not come forward there, Keely.
So Tiakaranga Katoa slipped through the tackle of Wheeler. Just let her go in time to avoid another penalty. Now Ray enjoying a bit more room to move, Casey Ray.
She looks very comfortable, doesn't she?
Helps when she doesn't have to make 5 tackles a set, doesn't it?
McGregor, no look pass. Hoping a hole might open up for Lendl, but there was nothing doing there. Penatani and Tonegado, great combination in attack and defence. Now Hancock, Steph. And Anderson slumping in to slow things down. McGregor, pass hits the deck. What can Lendl do from a standing start? Back to Berry, left foot kick. And Staples, what about the positioning there from the fullback?
Now she did well to get low and pick that up cleanly. It was a dribbling ball from Tegan Berry. But it's worth noting the reason Casey Ray is actually able to have a bit more freedom. Carla Cowan is on the field for the first time this year for the Dragons.
Good to see her back.
Absolutely.
Great to see her back playing NRLW.
The determination on the face of Byers. One of the try scorers today. Tonegado short side. She's done it again. That move is uncontainable. Dodd backing up. Great chase, Costa.
That was brilliant by Ella Costa. It had to be made.
How many line breaks for Emma Tonegado? Might be on world record pace. Anderson straightens up. Beats a couple of tackles and knocked on by the Dragons to an offside teammate.
Yeah, she was in front of her after that knock on.
May have saved the try though, the Dragons.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, it definitely did. I think if Anderson gave that prior to that step and go, there was numbers out to the right, but the Sharks continue to mount some attacking pressure.
Inside the final 10 minutes. Dodd directing traffic at dummy half. Will go short side to Biddle. Oh, how easy was that? Dodd was pointing like Babe Ruth back in the 1920s, and it still worked.
I love this play down the short side. You can see they've got a massive left edge set up. They've got all the strike out there. Emma Tonegado has been running riot out on that left edge, so a lot of attention will go out to her. This is yet another line break that she's had. I'm still disappointed for her that that try got taken off her because she has had a whale of a game. But this work down the right-hand side, Anessa Biddle, you just see the attention she draws. The winger jams in on her and leaves Ravix unattended. Alice Gregory it was, the Harvey Norman replay. You can just see how much attention Anessa Biddle gets, and Georgia Ravix gets a nice clean run to the line.
Yeah, she's such a threat, isn't she, Anessa Biddle? Such an attacking weapon. Great job to get it out there quickly, though. As soon as they saw Gregory up, Anessa Biddle catch pass to Ravix. They've got a really good combination. Their timing off one another is brilliant. We quite often see it flourish in defence and some of the decisions that they make. A lot of attack from the Sharkies has been on that left edge, but really well executed when they did get that opportunity.
Where to start this one for Preston? Ball's been moving around a lot. Hoping this one will just ride back on the breeze. Over.
Stay behind it.
So another Sharks winger with a double tonight. This time it's Georgia Ravix. And we check in with Marley again.
There's some very passionate fans that have been hanging on the fence behind me getting into this game, and I've had a bit of a yarn with them. It turns out they're the under-15s Ulladulla Bulldogs football side, the male football side, and it is so exciting to see how the next generation of both boys and girls are being inspired by our NRLW superstars.
You're on, boys. So a shocker from the Sharks from the kickoff. Dragons get the ball back.
That is not the set after points that a coach is after. Again, the bouncing ball. They let the ball bounce. Hopefully they don't pay the price for it, but the Dragons have got some shape out to this left.
They need to get a Phil Gould motto up on the whiteboard this week. Invite, what is it?
Disappointment interior.
Hancock. Dragons in search of a consolation try or two down the stretch here. Cowan, nice service from McGregor. And up quickly was Penatani, denying the pass getting out to Berry, who wants it now short side. And again, they're ready and waiting for the threat of Flash Berry, who scored in the last 5 games, I think. No try tonight yet. As Preston tidies up, can she get out of there? She can.
There needed to be more urgency from that chase from the Dragons.
I'm only giggling because I know Taylor Preston very well, and I can just imagine the internal monologue there. What was happening?
Yeah, take us inside.
I don't think we want to.
Had to put her body on the line, diving back into the field of play, but the Sharks have coughed it up inside their own 20 here.
Big opportunity for the Dragons. We didn't see Casey Ray get to construct any of their attack that last set on the left edge. Racine McGregor obviously the dominant half, but then Tegan Berry chimed in to have a run first receiver, so I'd like to see a little bit of variation in their attack.
Let's back in.
Ah, the pickle
10
juice.
seconds, 10 seconds, come on. 10
Gross.
seconds. Head down.
7 tries in her past 5 games here for Tegan Berry. Can she find some space off the centre field scrum? She's going to loop around behind McGregor. And not as devastating as the Sharks have been in those situations.
Well, the Sharks' defence did a really good job there. Equalised off the scrum, identified the threat. I think they've actually done well in just identifying where she's going to pop up tonight so far.
Waiting left-hand side now. Berry.
Knock on.
And knock on is the adjudication through the hands of Brown. And she thinks it's gone backwards after that, but the touchy disagreed.
In the middle,
Yeah,
scrum.
they lost their challenge as well earlier at the start of this half that they didn't need to use, but I thought it was definitely lost forward anyway.
I thought Tegan was trying to hit her winger then.
Yeah.
She's trying to throw a cutout to her winger.
Let's go, 10 seconds. Dragons, come on.
There is opportunity if they can hit that winger cleanly. There's been a couple of times where there's been a disconnect with the centre and winger. And they could take advantage of that, the Dragons, but Tiana Penatani, my goodness.
Another strong
She's
run.
been strong.
Oh, Johnston rampaging. Tonegato waits down that short side. Never got the ball that time. He's busted the Dragons on multiple occasions tonight. I think she's credited with 3 line breaks so far.
Well, that's right, because the try got taken off. It would have been 4.
And she put Penatani through a couple of holes
Yeah.
for clean line breaks off her passes.
Look at that run, Ellie Johnston.
Preston. Back on the angle goes Biddle. One more pass to the left would have been interesting there.
That's where Staples needed to pop up, I feel.
Dodd heads that way now. Tonegato flicks it back. Johnston wants that footy.
Oh, no.
Thought she was going to kick for a moment. Anderson does. And it might find grass. How's the bounce? Ravix chasing. Well done.
What
Great
about-
gather by Gregory.
Yeah, and what about the chase? Brooke Anderson, the one who came up with that last-minute kick, got down there for some contact and then gets back in with a trademark tackle on a second.
I'm so glad Ellie Johnson didn't try and kick that one.
Did you see the smile on her face though? She thought of it. You know
she definitely thought about it.
Remember late last season, she ran away for a try, didn't she? Yeah. Ellie Johnston. She's got a highlight reel or two. And the kick would have added to it. Inside the final 3 minutes here.
She could probably do it too. She's very athletic.
Sharks going to be 5-0. Speaking of kicking, here goes Tegan Berry. Gets a terrible bounce. Still might work out. No, Wheeler dives on it and knocked it on though.
It was the only bounce that didn't go in favour of the Dragons tonight, but they still come up with the ball with an error. They're going to challenge this, the Sharks.
Cronulla is challenging the ruling of knock-on on the ground.
May as well. You can't take it with you. There's only just over a couple of minutes left in the game.
All aspects of play have been cleared up to this point.
Wheeler doesn't mind questioning authority. Challenging the referee. She got that clean and then lost it maybe at the end of it all.
I think it'll just be whether she grips the ball
Shark
to her
player
body
takes possession of the ball
or it touches.
That's fine until there, but then she loses it.
and then knocks on the ground. We have a decision. Oh, challenge unsuccessful.
It's getting late, Dave.
It's been a long day. It's our 4th game of footy. Forgiven.
You know what I mean. Dave Munro in the bunker.
A couple of generations watching the footy there.
That is so cool.
I love that.
Oh, I love that. That is the best.
She's seen herself on the big screen too.
Get it, sis.
Kicking for Berry and read by Staples. Bouncing ball, awkward. And gets there ahead of her opposite number.
Well, it's worth a shot for the Dragons. It paid off for them a couple of times last year. Ray McGregor kick for Tegan Berry.
Tell us about the 18th player today for the Sharks. Detoy, are we going to see her soon off the back of Rugby Sevens for Australia?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but she's a very handy pickup for the Sharks, isn't she? Very physical, good on her feet. She's been enjoying training. She's only been in training for the week so far, but she's been enjoying it.
You know the Sharks can't fly under the radar for much longer, Roo. They're 5-0 here.
I don't think they are flying under the radar now. I think they're very much up front, sitting pretty. 4 points clear, isn't it?
Yeah, very good squad. Really strong depth about it. And look at the muscle up in defence here late in the game. One last set for the Dragons. Able to keep St George Illawarra to just 4 points so far on their home deck.
I think Tony Herman will just be very happy that with their completion rate. They've completed 29 of 33, the Sharks. Defensively is very clear. They've held the Dragons to 4 points. But getting through their set, getting into the grind has been really good for the Sharks today.
Hancock, well done. Found Berry. Oh!
That's hard.
Quincy Dodd might head to the bin, will she?
Off. No, I can't go quick.
Just the penalty will suffice for now.
Time's off.
Well, they're going to check it.
Okay. Quincy, job report, high contact. Okay. High contact.
Check on that one tomorrow.
Yeah. Tegan Berry was falling there and there was contact with the head, so I understand the penalty.
A fresh set. They'll just be able to get through it, perhaps. And they grab the last points here at Wynn Stadium tonight. The halves combined. Berry, overlap created on debut, runs out of room. Guess who? Tonegado denies the first gamer a moment to remember.
Yeah, really well handled by the Sharkies. They looked good when the halves connected and then Tegan Berry out the back, but they just ran out of room, probably overran that one a tiny bit, but that's been the story of the day. The Sharks turning up in defence, making some really big plays when they need to, and they just have not run out of energy. They've built pressure brilliantly, as Ruan said before.
Tony.
Got through their sets and then just come up with the big plays both in attack and defence. That's a good-looking coach, isn't it?
Hey, he's a happy-looking coach.
You got to enjoy your victories. Cronulla are
That's full time,
5-0 and 4 points clear to start the new season. What a performance in the gong from Emma Tonegado. All class tonight as Cronulla win this one, 28 points to 4.